Welcome to Donington Park for round 2 of the Thundersport GP Championships. In this programme we bring you all the action from Thundersport GP1 and the Van Insurers 600 Sportsman Elite. But before we get underway with all the racing, Sid is down in the paddock having caught up with one of the contenders for this year.
Danny Murphy, winner of the Bike Insurer Thundersport GP1 but Superstock Championship last year. What are your ambitions for this year?
Well, we've put slicks on the stock bike for this year to try and win the GP1 Championship, and in the hope of being able to do the last round of the Spanish Championship in the Superbike class.
So then the next step is with Cal Crutchlow, presumably in MotoGP then?
It'd be the aim, hopefully. Just try and find the funds and the sponsorship for it, and hopefully we'll be able to go forward that way.
Well, look, I mean, me above anybody else knows that you're capable of it, Danny. I mean, it's all a matter of everything coming together for you. Do you like Donington Park?
Yeah, I've always seemed to go well at Donington. Just need to find a little bit more for today's racing and see how we go from there.
Yes, there's certainly no doubting that Danny Murphy, one of the most talented riders that we've ever set our eyes on here at Thundersport GP. So time for race 1, the Bike Insurer Thundersport GP1, and the champion is back to join us. John Ingram, who cleared up in this championship last year in the GP1 category, is actually out there on a super stock bike. And get this, last year's super stock champion is out there on a GP1 bike. Well, we'll try and work that one out as we go along. Phil Crowe, another former champion out there as well, sporting the number 71 BMW. Alex Heaton, number 111, going well last year. Michael Neves, the MCN reporter, is always one to keep an eye out for. He's also on a BMW GP1. Dan Stewart, 37. Barry Teasdale, of course, number 224. John Waghorn out there. Lots of riders to keep our eyes out for, and the lights are out, so we head down towards turn 1. And the number 1 plate there, Danny Murphy, who Sid just spoke to, looks to try and get the whole shot, but it is going to be the Ram, John Ingram, who was so dominant in this class last year. And blimey, what's going on there? That's number 63, Michael Mace, and he's not even got a lap in at all at the start of this race. But I mentioned John Ingram there, not only dominant in the championship, but so dominant at Donington Park. It's a circuit that he runs very, very well at. He won every single race here last year on his machine, but this year he's attempting Superstock 1000. He's got TT on the brain as well, but he's come back for a play in a very, very competitive field and looking pretty strong out there on that Kawasaki as they head down the back straight. In second place there is Nevesy, Michael Neves, number 33, and then Danny Murphy in third place. We are on board with Danny Murphy right now as we exit the Foggy S's, then up a very slight hill before breaking down into the Melbourne Loop, and a nice neat move there from Danny as he goes up the inside of Nevesy into the Melbourne Loop, and then we'll head up towards Goddard's. Danny Murphy in fine form. The only problem for Danny in terms of his racing is the fact that he suffers severely with arm pump. Those of you that have had it will know all about it. It is a killer. It really does not help you out at all when you're racing. It can end your races prematurely. You can't feel your hands. It is that bad. All to do with blood circulation, and unfortunately Danny really has been struggling with that over the last few years since moving on to the bigger bikes. There's Phil Crowe, number 71, thinking about a move on Alex Heaton, number 111, on the AL Joinery QC designed Kawasaki. Had a very good run out back at Brands Hatch, but it is number 59, John Ingram, that has the advantage so far on the Superstock machine ahead of Danny Murphy on the GP1 bike. Now, Danny's bike isn't actually far more powerful than John Ingram's. It's just the fact that he's got a bit more grip available with those slick tyres as they head down the back straight and into the Foggy S's we go, and backing it in there it is Nevesy in third place, Michael Neves, then Alex Heaton and Phil Crowe, the former champion, getting some supreme drive out of the Foggy S's. It's either that or Heaton's made a mistake, and well, that was a bit awkward for Phil Crowe because he was going to try and get up the inside of Alex Heaton, but Neves was pretty early on the brakes and it caused problems, and there's problems elsewhere on the circuit here for Duncan Gibson. And, well, there he is. Dunk has gone straight on into the gravel trap. Meanwhile, at the front, John Ingram not necessarily having this all his own way at the moment. Danny Murphy has got his number, and as they exit Red Gate and come through Hollywood, he's got a decent thing going on there. That's Blake Wald's number 19. Sorry, I'm so used to seeing Blake Wald's out there at number 19. It's not Blake Wald's, it's Ryan Gibson, number 19, just going through your picture, but it's still the Ram that has the advantage ahead of Danny Murphy. They're on a decent pace, lap record pace at the moment. They head around, and there's number 65. That's Alan Bailey from Aberdeen on the BMW, having a good run out. So Darren Cooper, number 60 on the Kawasaki, also back on board with Danny Murphy though, and he's looking at the race leader John Ingram here as we head onto the back straight out of Coppice. So can he get himself in the slipstream? He's not quite close enough to make a move as we go down into the foggy S's. Tip left, tip right, back on the power again. John Ingram, a rider out front who very rarely makes a mistake, so Danny Murphy's going to have to pull out all the stops here to try and win it. There he is. These two, of course, champions last year, but of each other's classes. Ingram, the GP1 champion, Danny Murphy, the Superstock champion, and Danny has been so unlucky when it comes to sponsorship. He deserves so much more. He's an outstanding talent. So we just get a quick glimpse there of number 29 tipping into the Melbourne Loop. That's John Fisher. He's been a regular in the paddocks over the years, but at the front it's still Ingram from Danny Murphy as they head around Hollywood just before going down into the Craner Curves. There's 73, Dave Brooks. He's having a decent race from 21st on the grid. Not necessarily great qualifying, but he's up into the points overall at the moment. And other riders that are doing well from the grid. Michael Pearson started 14th and he's up in the top 8 overall. Martin Brown was 15th, he's made up a few spots, but it's still the Ram, John Ingram, 59 here out front, leading ahead of Danny Murphy, number 1. Long old races these for these guys on these big bikes. They go on to the back straight, and Danny Murphy desperately trying to find the slipstream. In third place is still Alex Heaton. I can't quite find these guys at the back, and as we tip down into the foggy S's again, on board with Murphy in second. Oh my word! And look at that, that was a major moment there from John Ingram. I said he doesn't make many mistakes, but he was out of the saddle there on the exit of the foggy S's. He manages to stay on. He's having a look down. Now he needs to regroup. John Ingram is a class act, but I've got to say, it's one of the first times I've ever seen. He's out of the saddle again, and the rear end all over the place here. Let's have another look at this from another camera angle on the exit of the foggy S's, on the gas early. Oh, blimey! John Ingram, you lucky, lucky, lucky boy. He manages to stay on. He's regrouped. He's just ahead of Alex Heaton. He's still in second place after all that. But Ingram, realistically, any normal person would be in a gravel trap by now. But Ingram, the champion, not so. Sorry, we're not on board. We're looking at Danny Murphy, the race leader, having inherited first place thanks to that moment from John Ingram. And so he can just calm down now, get into a rhythm, or can he? No, John Ingram is catching up. Phil Crow's made some ground up there in fourth place. There's then Michael Neves, number 33. Then Michael Pearson, 36 on the Kawasaki, and Dan Stewart, number 37. Onto the back straight we go. And Murphy's got a good 3-second advantage here in this GP1 race. Sid spoke to him just before the start. His intentions looking clear and grand for the season, but well, remains to be seen what happens. There is 36 and 21. 36 Michael Pearson. Number 21 is Chris Barnes. Chris, regular in the Thundersport paddock, and then number 10 and number 75. A good move there. Number 75 is Dan Hill, up the inside of Neil Bainbridge, of course, who was last year's runner-up in the Thundersport 500s. Don't forget, if you want to catch all the action from the Thundersport 500s, Thundersport Plus it next week. Here, and lots of other repeats on Motors TV from Donington Park. There's Phil Crow, former champion. Barry Teasdale, former pre-national champion. He's got his nose up ahead now of number 33, Michael Neves, on the BMW Park Lane machine. Barry Teasdale, who was new to racing completely a couple of seasons ago, won the pre-national 600 championship, then finished in the top 3 of the Superstocks last year. Number 37, Dan Stewart from Barrow in Furness on the Wilcock Consulting Honda, having a good race at the moment. Michael Pearson from County Antrim on the Northern Escalators. Kawasaki also up in the top 6 as it stands. So Danny Murphy it is that has the advantage, number 1 plate on his bike. It's not the first championship he's won with Thundersport either. The year before he was the outright champion overall in the Sportsman Elite class. There's number 16 and number 100. Number 16 Carl Simpson, and on the exit there of the Foggy S's we get number 100 Connor Tagg, also on the Night Ride Racing Ducati. Onto the start finish straight, it is Danny Murphy with a 133.9, but a 133.4 from John Ingram in second. So Ingram is closing the gap down. Further back, Alex Heaton, number 111, still in third place, but number 71 there, Phil Crow on the Whole Beach Tyres, Moto 46 BMW, a former champion, is catching him there in fourth. Then a small gap. I say small, it's not that small. Neavesy is there in 5th place, up ahead of Barry Teasdale. And then number 37, Dan Stewart, further back. Pearson is just ahead of Chris Barnes. Carl Simpson is in 9th and leads the Clubman Championship, the pre-national championship, should I say. That's for riders on the 1000cc bikes without a national licence yet. Simpson is in 9th. Martin Brand, 2nd of the pre-nats, in 11th place. Number 100, Connor Tagg, sandwiched in between them, and then rounding off the top 15. Neil Watson 12th, Joe Farragher 13th, Denver Robb in 14th, David Brook in 15th place. There's John Fisher, number 29, the bright yellow helmet. And now we're on board again with Danny Murphy, number 1 in the MPR Racing Kawasaki 1000, down into the Foggy S's. Bit of a front end wobble there on the brakes. Nice and neat, but that gap at the front has come down, and John Ingram closing up on this race lead of Danny Murphy down into the Melbourne Loop. Slightly wide line was that from Danny, and yeah, well, there's John Ingram. He's gone straight through, so a bit of a wide line there from Danny Murphy, and John Ingram has gone through into first place as they go into Goddard's now. Really tricky left-hander to navigate this onto the start-finish straight. So Murphy's going to have to hope for another mistake now from John Ingram. I'll just wonder, you know, whether Danny Murphy's struggling a bit here because his lap times have come down a bit, and Alex Heaton in 3rd is caught as well. So Heaton and Phil Crow go through in 3rd and 4th. Then it's Michael Neves, number 33, in 5th place. Barry Teasdale is in 6th place, up ahead of Dan Stewart. But the conclusion of this race will be just after the break. Join us in a minute. Welcome back to Donington Park here for Thundersport GP1. It's John Ingram that has the lead despite a massive moment halfway through the race. Number 59 then, number 1 there, Danny Murphy in 2nd place. It's Alex Heaton in 3rd, number 111, and Phil Crow 71 in 4th place ahead of number 33, Michael Neves. There is John Ingram, number 59. They're just coming through some traffic at the moment, lapping 1 or 2 riders. Further back here, down into the Melbourne Loop, that's Connor Tagg, number 100 on the Night Road Racing Ducati, and number 16, Carl Simpson, who leads the pre-national thousands. Down into turn 1, there is Danny Murphy, and there is Phil Crow, going up into 3rd place now, ahead of Alex Heaton on the AL Joinery Kawasaki. He's been looking for that move for a number of laps now, and he's finally got it, but John Ingram, since regaining the lead, has just cleared off, and lap time's pretty good also. 33.4 that time for John Ingram, was a good 4-5 tenths quicker than that man there, number 1, Danny Murphy, as they try and filter through traffic. Phil Crow looks like he's catching Danny Murphy actually. So Crow, former champion of this class, in 3rd at the moment, looking for 2nd. There's Tagg going through, also number 52 there, Martin Brand, and 181, regular in the Thundersport paddock, Neil Watson. Number 181 there, Barnsley rider from the British Army race team. Down the back straight, there is Carl Simpson, leader of the pre-national thousands. Similar colour scheme to Phil Crow's BMW. And there's Connor Tagg, who pretty much rides absolutely anything that you chuck in front of him. But this is the race leader, John Ingram, ahead of Danny Murphy. Murphy there just maybe struggling for a bit of front-end grip as he went down into turn 1. And he'll be keeping his eyes on that pit board because he's going to have company very shortly. Across the line we go. John Ingram it is, number 59, the reigning GP1 champion, that has the advantage, and the last lap flag is out. Danny Murphy at the moment in second place. Can he hang on to it with Phil Crow closing in the background there, number 71, and then 111 Alex Heaton. I don't think he's closed for business just yet either. He looks pretty hot and dangerous there in fourth and posted a quicker time than Crow that time around. Neves is in a lonely fifth place at the moment, but it's still a good result in this field. 34 talented riders out there. Danny Murphy is in a bit of danger here in second place. And can he hold on to it? A bit of a, almost a tank slapper there from Heaton. There goes Ingram through. There's Murphy, who's struggling late on in this race to hold on to second place. Crow is closing in now in third, number 71, and there is Alex Heaton as well, number 111. We're on board now with Danny Murphy as they head around Coppice onto the back straight. Surely we're going to see a front wheel move from Phil Crow at any moment now. Down the back straight, and oh, what's going on here? And he's off circuit. Oh dear, he's not going to recover from this one, Danny Murphy. Oh, it's a monster crash. He goes on to the other part of the circuit. Oh dear goodness gracious. That is monstrous. I hope he's okay. The red flags quite rightly go out, and that would be it for that race. John Ingram's going to be the race winner, but that was a massive crash for Danny Murphy, and we just wait news. Hopefully he is okay. John Ingram, the former champion, wins it ahead of Phil Crow and Alex Heaton. But Danny Murphy there, as soon as the front wheel just went over that bump there, the bike seemed to veer off, and he's out of this race. Neves takes fourth then, Dan Stewart fifth, ahead of Michael Pearson. Oof, that was a crash that took your breath away, but it is Ingram that wins overall. He's got a number of trophies there for the cabinet. Good win for John Ingram. Phil Crow wins the GP1 championship race. John Ingram, of course, the winner of the Super Stocks, and it was Carl Simpson, the winner of the Pre-National Thousands.
Carl Simpson, winner of the Pre-National 1000 Cup. You must have enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was a good race. I had a passport on me early in the race. I fog yeses, which demoted me mid-pack, but I just chipped away from there, come back to about 8th or 9th overall, and struggling with a bit of arm pump and what have you, but that's about it really. I'd like to thank Miller's Oils, CS Abtech Services, Phil Crow Racing, and Andy Simpson Block Paving.
I think you saw a few moments out there. Do you want to go through it with me?
Yeah, hectic race. I got a bad start myself, so I was in 4th or 5th for a good majority of the race and still started to work my way through. Obviously Ingram and Danny were going at it at the front. John had a big moment and nearly crashed high-siding out the S's. He was very lucky to get away with that. As the race was progressing, there was some battling going on between me and Alex and John and Danny at the front. And towards the end of the race, we know Danny's got an arm pump problem. And all of a sudden, he went over the dip down the back straight, and his arms seemed to come off the handlebars, and he basically had no control of the bike and went across the track at about 150 mile an hour. But I think he's got away with it. I think he's been very lucky, so John's been lucky too. Me and Alex had a right good dice as well, so yeah. Good race all in all, and a few sponsors I'd like to thank if possible. Hand Trans Haulage come on board this year for the TT and the Northwest 200 and some short circuit stuff in the UK. Whole Beach Motorcycle Tyres, B&C Express, Objecta Modernisation, Danny Boy Racing, Dunlop, and various others. I need to mention that, I always forget, but we'll get him in sometime throughout the year.
John Ingram, GP1 Superstock 1000 winner, overall race winner. Fantastic race. A lot went on in that one. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I mean, what we've come here for this weekend, we've come here to set the Morello Services ZX10 up and try and get a decent setting. Working through the settings, going forward each time. Unfortunately, that time, the bike felt a little bit worse than it did yesterday. So we've obviously gone the wrong way. Set off in the race, got myself into a nice pace, nice lead. And then I nearly high-sided it at coming through the S's, which wasn't too clever. So I just regrouped, got myself back into a rhythm, thinking what we can change on the bike for this afternoon. So that's one side of it. I know Danny had an off. I didn't actually see it at the end of the race, so I hope he's all right. I'd just like to thank a few sponsors. Obviously, Steve from Morello Services giving me the opportunity to ride his ZX10 in the British Championship this year. That's fantastic support from him. The TT, I've got help from Hunt's Honda of Manchester. I've got Lester Stacey of Gadget Box. He's helping me with the TT. We've got loads of Facebook members that are coming on board, just making the season happen for me. So it is coming together. I'll just feel better when I get this ZX10 set up properly.
Well, coming up next will be the Van Insurance 600 Sportsman Elite, and I believe Sid's down there in the paddock with last year's runner-up, Richie McNeil. Far away, Sid.
Richie McNeil, all the way from Bangor in Northern Ireland. Long way for you to come to all these Thundersport meetings. Now, I know that yesterday you struggled a bit with setup in qualifying, didn't you?
Yeah, I struggled quite a lot in qualifying. It's just unfortunate we didn't get the practice that we wanted, the usual test days with Thundersport, but got a really good setup. Chris Sale, he came over from Morello Racing, the BSB team, and he helped me yesterday after qualifying. I had a bit of problems. The whole qualifying was a bit atrocious for us. I was 8th in the grid, which wasn't too bad, but for today's race I'm 3rd in the grid, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I should just explain that because of your race yesterday and your lap times, the Thundersport Mega Lap system put you on the front row of the grid, so it gives you a much better start. Do you think you can get away with the leaders into that first corner or even the whole shot?
Yeah, the whole shot, that definitely appeals to me. So yeah, I'll definitely be trying to get the whole shot. It's a 10-lap race, so I do get bad arm pump, but hopefully if I can get away at the start and if I can just break that gap, and if I do suffer towards the end, then maybe it'll be okay and it'll still be an advantage to me, but fingers crossed for the race.
Well, I know you've mentioned to me about arm pump before, and I can see those lovely new leathers of yours are very tight fitting. I wish I could get them on, I have to say, but do you think that's got anything to do with it, or just the nature of the circuit?
The nature of the circuit too, and with it being the start of the race season as well, it does ease as I go through the season, but with the new leathers, yeah, they're quite tight in around my shoulders and stuff. I did feel it a wee bit out there, so maybe that could be part of it. I'll put on my old leathers for the race, I think I'll feel a bit more comfortable.
Well, folks, the 600 Sportsman Elite, usually we just shoot straight down to the race for the start, but on the warm-up lap here, Richie McNeil, who we've just spoken to, look at that, number 22, the chain breaks, and so it's a premature end to his race already, pulled off circuit, and unfortunately Richie won't take part in the race. I tell you what, Sid, stop interviewing people because you are cursing the lot of them. He's got the curse on this weekend. Everyone he speaks to, something happens. There is Ross Twyman on pole position anyway. We're going to get underway now. Number 15, somewhat of a specialist at this circuit. He'll hate me for saying that, but he does run well at Donington. The champion number 1 plate there is Daniel Freer, so he gets away well as well. So riders, Formula 600 and Superstock 600s down into turn 1, and Daniel Freer's got the whole shot there as they tip into Redgate corner. Number 25 there in the blue and yellow is Josh Hill. We're on board with Lee Shallcross here, number 55, as we go down into Craner Curves. And just up ahead of him, oh my, whoa, jeez, down into Craner Curves, and and that's Gordon Wright. Now Gordon Wright, there you see, lose control of the bike, but look at this, that's Dylan Roberts, number 191, how has he not run him over? Oh, he's so lucky, Gordon Wright there. I hope he's okay after the crash full stop, but oh yes he is, he's up, he's walking away. Well, that was monstrous. A big moment there. Lee Shallcross getting it all on camera as well. Gordon Wright going down, almost getting wiped out by Dylan Roberts, so that would have certainly woke up a few riders further down the pack. Shall we regroup as they come around the final turn onto the start-finish straight? It is number 26, William White, on the Triumph that's got the best of it at the moment, ahead of Dan Freer. Then the black R6 of Ross Twyman, number 15, a rider who's come up from the Aprilia 450 class, and this time last year won 7 of 8 races. So he really does favour this circuit. William White, though, it is that has the advantage on the Triumph as they go into the old hairpin. Rider from Watford on the Triumph's over adversity machine. Really good start for him. Daniel Freer, the championship leader and last year's champion overall, in second place on the blue and yellow NL Components BTS Yamaha. Then number 15, Ross Twyman on the RT Racing Yamaha. Then it's number 6, just behind the top 3. That is Reese Rothwell, the current Street Fighter champion. Then Curtis Wright, number 74. But The leaders all coming down into the hairpin. It is, as it stands, number 26, William White, that leads, but we'll have more action coming up from the rest of this race in just a moment or two. Welcome back to Donington Park, Thundersport Elite. This is the Van Insure Sportsman 600 Elite. Just before the break, we saw that number 26 there is leading, and he still is. William White ahead of the current champion, Daniel Freer. This is a championship for Formula tuned 600s and Super Stock 600s, and it is the tuned champion of Daniel Freer that has now taken the lead. But here comes Ross Twyman as well in third place. Keep an eye on him, number 15, and here he comes. Oh, what a move that is from Ross Twyman, rider with a white helmet on, number 15, and there's Reece Rothwell as well, having a look up the inside, but there wasn't a lot of room there as they come around McLean's and up towards Coppice. It's going to get a bit messy, this. Freer it is that leads from, well, we're on board here from Lee Shellcross. Freer leads from Twyman, Lee Shellcross. These camera, by the way, on board is actually on a set of sunglasses, well, it's just see-through glasses that he's wearing. It's a fascinating camera that he's got on board there, but you get a pretty good eye as to what's going on. There's Domestic Dave, the marshal, keeping an eye on things. Freer it is that leads from Twyman, then William White, Curtis Wright. There's Adam Shelton, last year's Thundersport 500 champion, getting beaten up by Sam Cox, number 54. Both of those riders are known to each other. They fought it out in the 500s a couple of years back, but a nice, close, tight race at the front here. Across the line they go to complete another lap, and it is Daniel Freer that has the early advantage ahead of Ross Twyman, Reece Rothwell, William White, and there is Curtis Wright. A White and a Wright in the top four. That's handy, isn't it? Sam Cox is up there in the top 5 6 as well as Adam Shelton. Bradley Jones got off to a decent start, I should just add. He was qualified well, but Ross Twyman it is that has got the advantage. The rider on the Superstock bike, but bites back there. Daniel Freer, the champion, and back again goes Ross Twyman. And they're all bunching up now. Ross Twyman not got quite as much power available to him than Daniel Freer, but he is a big fan of this circuit, is Ross. Look at this lot, 7 or 8 riders, all in a group, trying to get themselves onto the podium. Twyman it is that leads on the black R6 ahead of the blue and yellow machine there of Daniel Freer. Just in the background, the quite chunky machine, that Suzuki GSXR, does look chunkier, doesn't it, than some of the other bikes out there, but that is Reece Rothwell. I should point out that he's not chunky, it's just the bike. Number 9, Paul Charman, who's got off to a decent start, having qualified 20th. He's up into the points. There's Lewis Osler, number 82, up ahead of number 90, Christian Peck. Those two just outside the top 20 as Adam Revel goes through. In fact, Lewis Osler had a massive crash here at the end of last year, Donington Park. It was a very serious crash indeed, so not fond memories of Donington for Lewis. Back at the front, though, it is Ross Twyman that has the advantage, the 450 rider from last year. Daniel Freer in second place. Those two are actually familiar with each other because they fought it out in the Super Twins here last year. Ross Twyman getting the better of Daniel for 3 of those 4 races. Then it's Rothwell in third on the Suzuki. Curtis Wright in 4th place, number 74. Curtis is out there on a super stock bike. In fact, of the top 7, all of them are super stocks, with the exception of Dan Freer, number 1. Further back, that is Lee Shellcross, number 55. We were on board with him earlier on in the race. But Ross Twyman here looking to just eke out a bit of a lead as they come down the back straight. Freer in second, Rothwell third. So we've got a couple of 3 champions maybe in this group at the front as Reece Rothwell goes through the foggy S's just ahead of Curtis Wright, William White, and Bradley Jones is getting close to him. Sam Cox is in the mix as well as there goes Adam Shelton and Bradley Jones. Nice to see Bradley out there on the Kawasaki number 7, another X450 rider. There's 3 ex-Thundersport champions in the top 8, and the rest of them are all regulars at the sharp end. There's number 30, Liam Shellcock from Oban, but it is still Ross Twyman that leads, backing the Yamaha into turn 1. There's Reece Rothwell, just up ahead of William White. Reece, of course, perhaps got to take on a bit more than some of the other riders here. He's gone from the Triumph in the Street Fighters last year with the flat handlebars, a different riding style onto the Suzuki, and he's dealing with the transition very well indeed. He's up there with some neat riders. These guys are all incredibly talented in the 600s. There is number 9, that's Paul Charman, battling it out with Liam Shelcott. Those guys just inside the points at the moment, 15th for Charman. In fact, Shelcott just outside the points. So this is the battle for the final point overall. Onto the back straight we go. Still, Ross Twyman it is that leads from the champion of last year and the championship leader, Daniel Freer. Then it's Curtis Wright. Curtis, who is 4th in the Superstock Championship after Brands Hatch, in 3rd place on the Triumph. Then Reece Rothwell on the Suzuki in 4th place, and William White there on another Triumph, taking a nice tight line. There's Sam Cox, number 54, who just lost out on the Superstock 600 Championship last year to Sam Thompson, but after Brands Hatch he leads overall. Further back is number 72, that was Max Wadsworth, and there's Adam Clark, number 87 from Wakefield, and an ex-Thundersport 500 champion as well. So a really competitive field here in the Van Insura Sportsman 600 Elite. There is Sam Cox just keeping an eye on William White up ahead. There was number 193 going through, Dale Thomas, and 106 Joe Barton. They are battling just inside the top 10. So not bad results at all. Nico Mawini is also in amongst them, number 10, Scotsman. There is, that looked like Adam Shelton, but it's the same colour scheme. Of course it's not. It is Jordan Rushby, who was also part of the AL Joinery Racing team. Jordan, new to this championship for this season. He's up in 12th place. He's doing a good race as well. Ross Twyman it is that leads on the privately run Yamaha R6. A rider who was competing in the Aprilia 450 Championship last year and led that championship after Donington this time last year, but couldn't quite manage to win the series overall. There is once again Dale Thomas up ahead of Joe Barton, the pair of them going up underneath Neil Mawini on the Northern Escalators Kawasaki. And there's 47 and 25, 47 Frank Gallagher, the Zest Legal Racing Kawasaki, number 25 Josh Hill from Sheffield, a regular in the paddock. Here comes Dan Freer though at the front. Is he thought he was going to make a move then on Ross Twyman for the 1st place position. Of course, these two guys at the moment leading separate championships in this race. Ross Twyman, leader of the Superstock race, Dan Freer, leader of the Formula 600s as they go through Craners and now into the old hairpin. A bit of a gap back to Curtis Wright, who's now got a bit of breathing space himself. Back to the battle between Sam Cox, William White and Adam Shelton. But it's Twyman that still has the lead. Reece Rothwell, of course, up in there in 4th place. Also, the current Street Fighter Extreme champion and the, in fact, a double Street Fighter champion. He won that series outright the year before also. And just behind him is William White and Sam Cox. Twyman it is that has the advantage. Well, we wondered whether Ross Twyman would be able to cope with the transition from the 450 to the 600. I think he's answered that. Oh, and is that a mistake from Twyman? His arms up in the air, and Twyman's out of this race by the looks of things. What's happened there? He looked to have lost all sort of transition. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, no, and Reece Rothwell has gone down on the exit of the Melbourne Loop, and that is not an ideal place to be laying. I hope he's okay. I wonder if he's just knocked himself out a bit there. Well, surely this race, yeah, it's going to be stopped. The red flags are out, and that's the end of the race. Now, this is interesting. Ross Twyman, with his arm out, he was still on board his machine, you know, but that will go back a lap. And Ross Twyman is going to take the win. You lucky so-and-so. Ross Twyman is going to be, yes, he's got the victory there by a 10th over Daniel Freer. Curtis Wright in 3rd, ahead of Sam Cox, William White and Adam Shelton. So on the podium, count your lucky stars there, Ross. The winner of the Super Stocks up ahead of Curtis Wright and Sam Cox. And in the formulas, it is Daniel Freer ahead of Stephen Parsons and Nico Mawini.
And Freer, winner of the Bike Insurer Formula 600. How did the race go for you?
It was a good race. Got in the lead for the first lap, and Ross Twyman come by me and pulled about 2.5 gap, and I managed to claw him back and get alongside of him and out braking into Melbourne hairpin on the last lap. And then the red flags come out, and and that was called the result light. So I think Ross got it on the lap count back, and I got second in the end. But I was pleased just to get out in the race. I was out in the warm up this morning on the 600, and I come back and said to my crew, like, I said, there's no chance. I couldn't move my wrist or out. Took some tablets, got some ice on it, and went out in the race. Once the adrenaline kicked in, it was all right. So I was well happy with that. I'd just like to thank my sponsors, Paul Burrell, Bass Tyres. Thanks a lot.
Ross Twyman, winner of the 600 Sportsman Elite and obviously the Bike Insurer 600 Superstock. How did the race go for you?
Yeah, it was a good race. Like there's a bit of tussling at the start, but the race yesterday, like I couldn't get my starts right. So, but luckily this one was a bit better. And yeah, like I say, there's a bit of tussling at the start, but no, I managed to sort of fight my way through. And once I got out, it was trying to stay ahead was hard. And Dan's going well. I mean, everyone's going well, but it's a good race, competitive class, really competitive. But yeah, I'm really happy. Thanks for that. And I'd like to thank my sponsors, Brinkman Engineering, Jim Brazier, Wellvent, and obviously my dad for this weekend as well.
Well done to Ross then, and they'll be back out for race 2 in just a moment's time. Before that though, GP1. Welcome back, Donington Park, the Bike Insurer Thundersport GP1 Race 2. John Ingram, last year's champion, number 59 on pole position, and the winner from the earlier race with a Mick Doohan replica lid by the looks of things. Ready to go out in this race, or it might be a custom made one. We'll have to wait and see. Phil Crow also on the grid. A quick update on Danny Murphy. Of course, we saw that horrendous crash in race 1 where his arms came off the bar and the bike went veering off over to the right. I understand that Danny was concussed, but he is up and he's chatting away, but he won't be racing in this one. Hopefully he'll be back for Snetterton, but who knows, we'll just have to wait and see. But the good news is that he is wandering about somehow after that crash. Away we go from the line. A really top start that from number 59 John Ingram, the champion. Also a decent start from Michael Neves, number 33, who's trying to dash up the inside. And all the riders look to make it round turn 1 here into Redgate, all in one piece. As we get a quick shot there of Brian Fwidge, number 27. Good effort from Michael Neves off the line there. It is John Ingram that has the early advantage. He'll head down through Craner Curves and then into the old hairpin. Orange vests for the rookies, don't forget. Michael Neves did get the whole shot then, and he's got the early advantage. The motorcycle journalist on the BMW Park Lane machine up ahead of John Ingram, last year's champion, and then it's former champion Phil Crow, number 71, in 3rd place. No Danny Murphy, of course, as I just mentioned. Number 37 is in 4th place, Dan Stewart. Then it's 111 Alex Heaton, and then Barry Teasdale. Further back, just saw a quick glimpse of John Waghorn coming through there ahead of Carl Simpson, the first of the pre-national 1,000 riders. Down into the Melbourne Loop for the first time there when it's 3 abreast. Neves has the advantage from just John Ingram. There's Neil Watson, number 181, just ahead of Connor Tagg, but behind Chris Barnes. Incredibly talented field this, but John Ingram's got out to the front, so Ingram has passed Michael Neves, and Phil Crow looks to follow. Crow in 3rd place, looking to try and get in the slipstream of Neves as they go down into turn 1, and it is happened, and Crow has moved up into 2nd place. There is Barnes, number 21, with company in the form of Neil Watson. Ingram it is that leads then from Crow and Neves, so Neves has been pushed back to 3rd despite that excellent start. Number 37 it is in 4th place. Dan Stewart out of the old hairpin underneath Starkey's Bridge. Phil Crow with a much better start this time than he had in race 1. Can he keep up with John Ingram though? He'll be hoping that John can make a mistake or two like he did in race 1. They go into the blind entry point there of Coppice Corner and onto the back straight. The pair of them just edging away now from Michael Neves in 3rd place, and 4th there is still Dan Stewart. Phil Crow though up the inside, down into the foggy S. It's nicely done there from the former champion. These two have had plenty of races in their time. They're good friends off circuit, and well, at the moment they're keeping it clean on circuit. Number 10 there just going through on 29. That was Neil Bainbridge going through on Fisher, John Fisher, and there is Alex Heaton, number 111, who's having a good start to the season so far, keeping himself up in the top 5 overall. A bit of a moment and a bit of a wobble there from, that looked to be 195, was it? Robert Cadiz further back, but it's Phil Crowe that has the lead in this race so far, ahead of John Ingram, number 59. Phil, who's been in this GP1 paddock now since 2009, has always been fighting it out for this championship. Last round, he lost out on quite a few points, so he needs to make them up. Alex Heaton was ahead of him in the championship, as was Rob McNeely, but with no McNeely here, and with Danny Murphy not racing, this is a good opportunity for Crowe to try and take back the lead of the championship overall. There is number 60 Darren Cooper on the Kawasaki, in amongst Michael Mace and Callum O'Shea, but Crowe it is that leads. Front wheel up in the air there from John Ingram, and that was similar as to what happened to Danny Murphy. It's just that Danny's ended rather dramatically in a lump over by the start-finish straight. There is number 33 Michael Neves once more. It's Crowe and Ingram that edge away from the pack, the class of the field so far, with number 37 Dan Stewart closely following. Number 36 Michael Pearson is in there as well, so he's recovered well from 14th on the grid to get himself up there. There's number 19 once more ahead of 29. 19 is Ryan Gibson, number 29 John Fisher. Across the line to complete another lap. Phil Crowe it is that still leads from John Ingram, lapping in the 34s at the moment, the low 34s, which is not quite on lap record pace. Ingram's lap record is a 33.640, 33.9 on the Superstock 1000, so Ingram's already underneath his own, sorry, he's underneath the Superstock 1000 lap record, so he could hold lap records in both GP1 and Superstock 1000s. A moment, it's Phil Crowe, who's out there on the more powerful BMW tuned GP1 machine. John Ingram there on the stock Kawasaki. Onto the back straight we go, still Crowe with the advantage ahead of John Ingram. Then a gap back to 37 Dan Stewart, and then Michael Pearson looks to have the advantage in the rest of the field from 4th down to about 7th place. That battle includes Neves, Heaton, etc. There's 52 on 99. Martin Brand going up the inside of Rod Lynn from Quedgley. And once more we see number 10 there, Neil Baybridge, last year's runner-up in the Thundersport 500 Championship. The champion Adam Shelton we just saw a moment ago in the Van Insura Sportsman 600 Elite. That second race coming up after this one. Phil Crowe it is that still leads. Nice to see Phil at the moment, smooth out front, but John Ingram certainly got to be the danger man, as once again we see a few riders going through the shot there. 73 was Dave Brooke, number 22 is Denver Robb, Northern Irish rider, plenty of experience for Denver. Some good progress being made by one or two riders here as John Ingram looks to try and find some way past the race leader Phil Crowe. Denver Robb we just saw from 29th on the grid, he's up to 15th. I already mentioned that Michael Pearson from 14th is up into the top 5. Connor Tagg's just slipped back a bit from 15th, sorry, he's gone up from 15th into the top 10. Also progression from David Brooke, as we just saw there, number 73, 21st on the grid, up to 14th. Ingram has taken charge of this race though, as we expected him to. Further back there is Neves, Michael Neves, number 33, up ahead of Michael Pearson now. Down into the Melbourne Loop. I just wonder whether John Ingram will look to try and clear off out front. He wheelies the Kawasaki out of the Melbourne Loop. There's John Waghorn up ahead of 52 Martin Brand, one of the pre-national 1000 riders, and again Rod Lynn. So John Ingram, a 33.762 for John Ingram that time around, and that is a new Superstock 1000 lap record. Perhaps unsurprisingly, a good effort that from John Ingram. There's Michael Neves. You know, Michael does very well. He doesn't always race throughout the season. He picks and chooses the odd round, but to come into this class and to be battling where he is a very strong effort indeed for the motorcycle test journalist for the MCN. There is Ingram, though, ahead of Phil Crow. They may be friends off circuit, but they both want this one. Phil Crow should be leading the championship or somewhere near to it by the end of this if he stays where he is. There's 169. Sir Sam Boyers from Leyland on the Autosmart Honda, another one of the pre-national riders yet to attain a national race licence. So a quick recap on the top 10. It is John Ingram that leads from Phil Crow. Neves there in 3rd place, 36. Michael Pearson in 4th. Then it's Barry Teasdale, Alex Heaton, Carl Simpson a bit further back, and then Connor Tagg inside the top 10 with Neil Watson. Then it's Chris Barnes, John Waghorn, Martin Brand we just saw, 52, 73 David Brooke in 14th, Denver Robb in number 22 in 15th. Well, he's got to the front, but he's not cleared off, has he? John Ingram, Phil Crow keeping him honest there in 2nd place. Their lap time's almost identical that time around, but they've got a good 10, 11 seconds on the rest of the pack. Second of the super stock riders at the moment is Barry Teasdale ahead of Alex Heaton. So the top 3 in super stocks is Ingram, Teasdale, Heaton. Top 3 in the GP1s, Crow, Dan Stewart and Michael Pearson. Although Nevesy is in contention for the top 3 of the GP1 fight also. Onto the back straight they go again. There's John Waghorn once more and Martin Brand. Number 22 there, Denver Robb and Dave Brooke. Number 88 and number 19. 88 is Joe Farragher from Isle of Man. And number 19, Ryan Gibson on the MSG Racing Kawasaki. Down towards the Melbourne loop go the leaders. There's Nevesy. He's still got the advantage at the moment over this gaggle of riders in the battle for 3rd place overall. There's Alex Heaton, who's been a while since Alex raced around Donington Park due to injury. Lime green colour scheme there of Denver Robb, rider from Toonbridge in Northern Ireland. Down and past Brian Fwidge, putting a lap on him and into turn 1, red gate, but it is at the moment as it stands John Ingram that leads this one from Phil Crow in the GP1 race, and we'll bring you all the action of the rest of this race in just a few moments. It's Michael Neves in 3rd. Welcome back. It's the GP1 race here, sponsored by the bike insurer. John Ingram, the race leader, having cleared up in race 1, but he's being kept honest here by Phil Crow in 2nd place. It's Neves currently in 3rd. Further back, that is number 16, Carl Simpson in 8th overall, but leading the pre-national 1000 race. This is the battle for 3rd place, though. Number 33, Michael Neves, at the moment on the BMW, that has the advantage ahead of Dan Stewart, Michael Pearson. Alex Heaton is just at the back of that group on the AL Joinery Kawasaki. John Ingram just cannot shake off the advances of Phil Crow at the moment. Phil is, well, he's led this race for a couple of laps, but can't find a way back past him as Alex Heaton moves up ahead of Barry Teasdale. Heaton with quite a bit more experience than Barry Teasdale. Teasdale has had a season in this championship before, but bad from him. There is number 37, Dan Stewart. I should just say that Dan Stewart is actually in 3rd place. I said Neves was battling for it. Dan Stewart is alone in 3rd place. Nevesy is in 4th. There's a change for 15th place. That is Denver Robb up the inside of David Brooke. Back to the front, 59 Ingram leads, last year's champion, ahead of former champion Phil Crow. Then this is the battle for 4th then. Neves ahead of Michael Pearson, Alex Heaton and Barry Teasdale. These guys, of course, will be preparing themselves for Snetterton, round 3 for Thundersport GB in Norfolk. Those races take place in early May, Bank holiday, and then will be screened on TV not too long after, so keep your eyes peeled for that, or join us down at Snet if you want. Hopefully we'll get some decent weather for that, because Snet can be pretty awful when the sun's not shining. But that is the next round for Thundersport. Pretty much a different circuit visited every single round. They do come to Donington Park twice, but the next visit to Donington will be the penultimate round of the championship in September, and it will be the national circuit. So they won't actually go and visit the same circuit twice on the Thundersport GB calendar. Down into the foggy S's, and there's a change for fourth. Number 36, Michael Pearson, goes up the inside of Michael Neves here. Long race this, and maybe Neves just feeling it towards the end. There's David Brooke, former pre-national 600 runner-up from last season. But at the front, the last lap flag is shown, and this should be John Ingram to take another win. John won't be with us for every single round of the championship. He's got a few other duties on for this season, but when he does turn up, he's going to be very tough to beat indeed. Phil Crowe would do well here just to follow him home in second place and take the points. There's still some working out to do here for fourth place overall, and let's not forget that the podiums in the separate categories aren't sorted out yet. There is number 36 Michael Pearson in fourth overall, ahead of number 33 Neves, then Heaton and Teasdale. In third on his own is Dan Stewart, so he should take second in the GP1 category. The winner of the Superstocks is going to be John Ingram, surely. Just behind him at the moment on circuit there is Phil Crowe. He'll win the GP1 race and surely command the Thundersport GP1 championship. 3 races per event for the GP1s, and so we're coming to the end of this second race for the GP1s on the Sunday. They had one yesterday as well. I don't think Phil's got anything up his sleeve here going into the final turn, but he's certainly not let John Ingram roar away with it. And the checkered flag comes out. Ingram has done it. He also picks up this race. It was for the Robert Fennell Trophy in memory of Robert Fennell, so he's done it again, back-to-back Robert Fennell Trophy wins for John Ingram, and a decent set of points for him as well. He wins that one 6/10 ahead of Phil Crowe. Dan Stewart was third on his own, 3 seconds ahead of Michael Pearson. Then it was Alex Heaton, second in the Superstocks, but 5th overall, and Michael Neves. And there he is with the Robert Fennell Trophy and the overall winners trophy, John Ingram. In GP1s, it was a win for Phil Crowe, the former champion, and in the pre-nationals, Carl Simpson took the win ahead of Martin Brand and Sam Boyers. So championship standings look like this as we head over to Snetterton. Alex Heaton, the surprise leader of the championship, 4 ahead of Phil Crowe. Rob McNeely still there in 3rd ahead of Ingram. Murphy in 5th, and hopefully returning at Snetterton. In the Superstock Thousands, Heaton has got it as well. Barry Teasdale in 2nd ahead of Rob McNeely. John Ingram, John Waghorn and Chris Barnes. In the pre-national sport 1000, 26-point lead now for Martin Brand ahead of Sam Boyers. Carl Simpson 3rd ahead of Mace, Fwidge and Buchanan.
Phil Crowe, Thundersport GP1 winner, sponsored by the bike insurer. I mean, you kept John Ingram very honest.
Yeah, I tried my hardest there. Felt like I had a better race all round. John was having a few little problems with his right wrist or not. He was rolling the throttle down the straights, I reckon. But I felt it went faster himself. A real good race. Felt strong. Made some more changes to the bike and improved it again. Good race. And I think we're left with the pack standing again. So it's just a good setup for the Northwest now on the TT. So got things working. A bit of confidence back in myself. Bike's working nice. So.
John Ingram, winner of the bike insurer Thundersport GP1 Superstock 1000 side. You must be really pleased with that. You've had a great weekend.
Yeah, this weekend's all about setting the Morello Services ZX10 up. We did that race. Then we went on tyres from the previous one. Tried a little bit of traction control on there. We're getting it somewhere near now. I've not done a great deal of laps on it, but it's all getting ready for Brands Hatch next weekend. Just going back to the race, it was a great race. Phil kept quite close to my heels then. The Robert Fennell Trophy we've just got, we had that last year as well. That's an honour to take that again. But the Thundersport paddock, it's had a blow this weekend, but everybody's come strong. It's a great community to be in, and we've enjoyed racing here this weekend.
Well done to John, and that's it from the GP1s. Their next round, Snetterton. Next up, though, it is the Van Insurer 600 Sportsman Elite. And good news, Richie McNeil's chain hasn't broken, and he is on the grid, ready to start this race. Hopefully we're not speaking too soon. Ross Twyman, of course, the race 1 winner, although a little bit of luck along the way. Daniel Freer, number 1. Will look to take a victory, and there is Richie McNeil. Sid caught up with him at the top of the show. Number 7 there is Bradley Jones. Then it's Adam Shelton just behind him. Sam Cox tucked up next to them. Full grid of talent. Really, really impressive lineup of fine motorcycle races here in the Van Insurer 600 Sportsman Elite. Formula 600s and Superstock 600s all firing down into Red Gate Corner. It's going to be the champion of last year and the championship leader Daniel Freer that gets the whole shot. They all make it through. Richie McNeil is straight away getting down to business, trying to find a way through. Number 22 is Richie. It's Daniel Freer, though, that just about holds them all off as they go down into the old hairpin. And well, that's nice. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They've all made it through the first few turns. Freer it is that leads from Richie McNeil. Number 26 in third there is William White, who got off to a beautiful start in race 1 on the Triumph, the yellow and white machine. Then in fourth place is the Kawasaki of Bradley Jones. So a stonking start from Bradley. Fifth place is Curtis Wright. 6th place is the winner from race 1, Ross Twyman. Then it's Adam Shelton and Sam Cox, followed by Parsons. And there's Chris Helliwell going through. Number 64, just behind Nico Mawini. Down into the Melbourne Loop, and there's William White having a look up the inside of Richie McNeil. Didn't quite work out for him then. Back, it's number 9, Paul Charman, again getting off to a decent start. You know, if Paul, I'm whispering to you now, Paul, when you watch this back, if you get yourself a better qualifying, you've got a great chance of regular top 10s. He does seem to leave himself with quite a bit of work to do from previous lap times, and makes it up in the race. There's Ross Twyman, number 15, the all-black Yamaha R6 going well, and Adam Shelton, the reigning Thundersport 500 champion, now on board with Richie McNeil, number 22, in second place, looking straight ahead to Dan Freer through Craner Curve. Some brilliant shots here. Then into the old hairpin. That tightens up on you on the exit, and flat out around under the Starkey's Bridge, which is just gone flying past, and Schwantz Curve almost flat out. Tip into McLean's, carry quite a bit of corner speed up into here, and then get in the slipstream of Dan Freer, and he's going to have a look up the inside, as he know, into the blind entry point of Coppice Corner, and then get on the power as early as you dare onto the back straight. Beautiful onboard shots, and that is how you take Coppice in the slipstream. He pulls out there side by side over the bump, and then down into Foggy S's, which is the only part of the circuit that really has changed a little since the tarmac was laid back down here after all the Formula 1 rigmarole that went on a few years back. Down into the Melbourne Loop, it's still Freer from Richie McNeil, and Ross Twyman up the inside of William White. Good move that from Twyman. He's not messing about, and he goes from 4th up into 3rd place. Decent move from Twyman, desperate to get himself at the front of this race again. He's obviously got his eyes on these two out front and doesn't want them to get away. Freer leads from McNeil, then Twyman and William White. William White taking Redgate a little bit a tight approach there for him. He's up ahead of Curtis Wright. I wish those two would get a few bikes in between them so we haven't got White and Wright, because it's causing all sorts of confusion in the commentary box here. It's still Freer and Richie McNeil, the top two, but here comes Ross Twyman. Oh, he's got that one down to a T on the power, lovely outside of the old hairpin, which is giving him excellent drive up the hill around Schwantz Curve, and Twyman now moves up into 2nd place. We're on board with McNeil now as we look ahead to Ross Twyman on the back straight. That's a stock 600, remember, so Richie's bike should storm past it. It's certainly quick enough. And down into the Foggy S's, so McNeil goes from 3rd up into 2nd again. Just a bit of a tight entry there, courtesy of that overtaking manoeuvre. Further back there is Dylan Roberts, number 191, and Lee Shallcross. Adam Revel, number 33, with the orange bib on. He is a rookie for this year. William White going through. There's Sam Cox with an aggressive move up the inside of Bradley Jones. It was clean enough though, and there is a place made up for Sam Cox as he moves up into 5th place overall. Daniel Freer still leads across the start-finish line from Richie McNeil, Ross Twyman and William White. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Sam Cox, Bradley Jones and Curtis Wright, who are then followed in by Adam Shelton. There's Lee Shallcross, Dylan Roberts, Adam Revel. That is the battle for the last of the points. In fact, Paul Charman catching that group up also. Still Freer that leads from McNeil and Twyman, so McNeil just about holding on to 2nd place, but once again he's been done in the same spot, and I'm not sure whether McNeil just shuts off the throttle marginally there or not, but Twyman has got his number through that part of the circuit and has moved up into 2nd place again. There's Lewis Osler having a scrap with Josh Hill, that's for 20th place, but at the front these 4 really going for it now. Daniel Freer it is that leads, Ross Twyman trying to move up into 1st place, and here comes Richie McNeil. Thought about going from 3rd up into 1st, but it's all changed at the front. Twyman it is that now leads this excellent race from Dan Freer, and here is Richie McNeil just dropping back a bit now into 3rd and into the clutches of Parsons as they head down into the old hairpin. Oh, and he's gone down. Richie McNeil's gone down into the old hairpin. This has been a disastrous weekend, and he doesn't look happy, does he? Now that's William White. What has happened here? And William White has taken Richie McNeil out, I can tell you. That's a bit naughty. William White T-bones Richie McNeil. He's out of the race. Join us again for the conclusion of this in a moment. Welcome back to Thundersport Elite, the final part. It is Daniel Freer that leads this race from Ross Twyman. These two are going at it hammer and tong in race 1, the same again. But the race has taken a bit of a twist and a turn because we did have a 4-way race for the win. Unfortunately, 4 has gone down to 2. Is there going to be a change for the lead? Lovely stuff that from Ross Twyman as he goes from 2nd up to 1st. But just before the break, Richie McNeil, who was in 3rd, got T-boned out of the race by William White. A bit of a naughty move that from White, but the pair of them unfortunately in the gravel, and they can fight that one out between themselves. What that has done, of course, is promoted Sam Cox up into 3rd place, Curtis Wright up to 4th, Brad Jones up to 5th, Parsons is up there as well. Good race from Jordan Rushby, teammate of Adam Shelton on the AL Joinery machine, number 2. From a 14th on the grid, he's up into the top 8 now. Dale Thomas likewise going very well indeed. Other riders that have improved, number 21, Max Wadsworth is, number 72, Max Wadsworth is up from 21st up into the top 10. Nico Mawini also, Chris Helliwell from 24th up into the top 12. So improvements all the way down the field, as we just got a glimpse there of number 55 Lee Shallcross and Adam Revel once more trying to get themselves into the points. But at the front, it's super stock rider number 15 on the black Yamaha R6, Ross Twyman, fighting with the current champion Daniel Freer. Oh, and there was a bit of a moment there for Adam Shelton. What's happened there down into Redgate corner? He's just been bossed out of 5th place by Curtis Wright, so not having things all his own way this season on the 600 just yet, Adam Shelton, so more to come from him. But Ross Twyman really does look the real deal here at Donington Park. He didn't get himself into the top 10 at Brands Hatch, non-existent really for him, but this is the round where it's all come alive for Ross Twyman. There is Revel and Shallcross once more, and number 47 and 75. 47 is Frank Gallagher, 75 is Ozzy Mady, the reigning Formula 400 champion from the Isle of Man. Currently just outside the top 15, Paul Charman taking up the final points place overall. Of course they score points in their separate championships also, but it's Twyman at the moment that has the advantage from Daniel Freer. Their lap times are almost identical in the mid-35s. The Superstock 600 lap record that was previously held by Joe Collier, gone. Ross Twyman has got that. There's Chris Helliwell getting himself embroiled in a battle as well. That is for effectively 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, etc. Joe Barton also in there. But it is Ross Twyman that leads from Daniel Freer. There is number 10, Neil Mawini, up ahead of Dale Thomas, 193. There's Joe Bart ahead of his old mate Adam Clark, number 87. Those two fought it out a couple of years ago for the Thundersport 500 Championship. Adam coming out on top, but at the moment Joe's got the better of him in this race. And there's Scotsman Mawhinney just going through. Also got Max Wadsworth in that group. Still Twyman that has the lead here on the Superstock 600 machine. He's gone very well so far here at Donington Park. The all black leathers and the all black bike, keeping with the colour scheme that went so well for him last year. There's Mawhinney up ahead of Dale Thomas once more, and number 72 Max Wadsworth. This is the battle for 9th, 10th and 11th place. Further up the road, Jordan Rushby, as I mentioned before, really good race for him, number 2. He's going very well. There's Chris Helliwell, just sandwiched in the middle of a decent battle. There's onlookers from the start-finish line. Get a glimpse of Twyman, who still has this advantage. The pair of them are about 7 or so seconds ahead of Sam Cox in 3rd overall. Cox, who led the Superstock 6 Championship from Brands Hatch. David Allingham went well in that weekend as well, but he's here just watching this weekend. There is Jordan Rushby, number 2, rider from Beverley on the AL Joinery Racing Yamaha, going well. And there's Sam Cox, number 54, just ahead of Brad Jones, number 7, who moves up ahead of Curtis Wright. That is the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th place. Has Daniel Freer got anything left here in the locker room? Here he is in 2nd place. Just looks quite comfortable at the moment. And, well, he is suffering with a bit of an injury, is Dan Freer, having come off earlier in the weekend. But it's still Twyman that has it here. I wonder if Freer is just thinking, you know what, I'm almost guaranteed of a championship lead staying intact if I keep it on the ice. There's Parsons just going through ahead of Rushby. That's the battle for 6th and 7th place. Down into the Melbourne Loop we go once more. Still Twyman and Freer from Cox, Wright, Jones, Parsons, Rushby, Thomas and Wadsworth. Coming to the closing stages now of this Van Insure 600 Sportsman Elite race. Leading the Superstocks, Ross Twyman ahead of Sam Cox and Curtis Wright. The Formula 600 leader here, the champion Daniel Freer, number 1, ahead of, as it stands, Parsons and Nico Mawhinney. There is Parsons and Jordan Rushby out on circuit. Ross Twyman, number 15, not done a lot wrong in this race. He's had to work pretty hard, despite setting the fastest time in qualifying, to get himself up into the lead. And there's a good move from Dale Thomas, going up underneath Nico Mawhinney onto the back straight. And I think that Daniel Freer settled for 2nd place here. This has been an inspiring performance from Ross Twyman, and I hope he can take this confidence on to Snetterton. This time last year when he pulled off a similar trick, he just failed to carry the form on, but maybe this year can be different for him. He's on a different bike, as we once again see Parsons and Rushby going through. Down into the Melbourne Loop, Twyman looking very comfortable considering this is his 1st season on a 600, really taken to that Yamaha well. Good little bike, that Yamaha 600, after all these years. Those R6s, not a lot wrong with them in stock or super sport format. Here's the last lap flag out, and the top 2 look sorted. In fact, 3rd looks pretty sorted as well. Cox at the moment with the advantage as they come around Red Gate through Hollywood and then down into Craner Curves once more. There is Adam Shelton. Parsons, and there's someone that's off, and that's Shelton. Adam Shelton has gone down, the reigning Thundersport 500 champion. He looks hurt, the red flags are out. He's gone down into turn 1 and the last lap flag was out, so that will be declared. I hope Adam is okay. That'll get declared, which means that Ross Twyman will take the win. Yet again, another stoppage in the 600. Twyman takes it. This time he would have finished the race surely. Freer 2nd place, but wins the Formula 600s. Cox in 3rd ahead of Wright, Jones, Parsons. Rushby was 7th overall, but Freer wins the Formula 600s. ahead of Parsons and Mawini, and then in the Superstocks, Twyman wins it from Sam Cox and Curtis Wright. So championship standings overall combined, Freer has a decent lead ahead of Sam Cox going into Snetterton. Ross Twyman lifts himself up to third though, 75 points, 2 ahead of Wright, and then it's McNeil and Shelton. Formula 600, Dan Freer with a 70-point lead now over Richie McNeil. Those two no scores from today really have cost him quite a bit. Parsons in third ahead of Charman, Rothwell and Edgley. In the Superstock 600s, it's a bit closer. Cox leads it still from Curtis Wright, Ross Twyman, Adam Shelton, William White and Bradley Jones in 6th.
Dan Freer, winner of the Formula 600. You must be pleased with that, especially with your hand injury. That looks horrible.
Yeah, got behind, well, got the lead for a start, leading for about 4 laps, felt comfy like, and then Ross come by me down Craner curves, and that's where I was struggling, down Craner and up Swansea's where you've got to turn the bike. My hands, well, both my hands, they're in bits at the minute, like, but I was just well happy to get second, well, win the Formula and second overall. I've got one eye on Richard McNeil, one eye on Curtis Wright, and I did what I needed to do this weekend, so I'm well happy.
Ross Twyman, fantastic racing again, but if you could get a better start, it would be so much easier for you.
I know, these starts are awful. I need to try and work on those. It's not happening for me at the moment, but yeah, no, apart from that, giving myself hard work, but apart from that, it was a good race, but made a few silly mistakes, which I'm a bit miffed about, but other than that, I'm happy with that, and fair play to Dan Freer with riding with his with that hand.
That's it from us here at Donington Park. Time to move to Norfolk and Snetterton for round 3. Be sure to join us for that. We'll see you soon.